All right, guys, on to the very first step. Cut open these packages, and the easiest way I found to do it is to start with the top, and I do one additional cut down the center to kind of fillet it open, just plop the wings out. Now that they're out of the packages, the next step is simply just to rinse them off. Now that we have the wings rinsed, we're gonna move on to the next phase, which is soaking the wings in a saltwater solution. We're gonna start by soaking them in a bowl that theoretically will fit in the refrigerator. There are two methods of soaking wings. We're gonna start with the first and I'll move on from there. We're gonna take 24 wings and put them in the bowl. The next thing is to just add tap water to the bowl. We're just gonna use enough water to cover the wings. You don't need to fill the whole bowl with water. We just need to cover the wings. Then the instructions on our wing mix bag have the amount, but we're going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of salt per 12 wings. Then we're going to throw a lid on them, and we're going to hopefully have room in our refrigerator to put them in. They need to soak for at least 2 hours. They can soak all day, they can soak overnight, they can soak for a very long time, but soak them for at least 2 hours. It's the prime time that we have found. So if you have room in your refrigerator and the chicken is already thawed out, then that method may be for you. The second method, which I have personally used for almost 8 years that I've been making these wings, is the bucket method. You can hold a ton of wings in these things, and we go through a ton of wings. The reason the bucket works so well is because the extra wings that aren't going to be eaten today, there's still a large amount of wings still in the sink. You just stick those in a freezer bag and throw them in the freezer. The best part of this whole process is you don't have to have fresh chicken for the wings to come out perfect every single time. Because they end up soaking in the saltwater solution, whether they're fresh or frozen, they come out identical. It's awesome. But in order to get them from the frozen state out of your freezer to a thawed out cooking state, we need to thaw them out. And the easiest way that I have found to do that is to throw them in a food grade bucket. If you don't want to clean the bucket afterwards, they also make liners that you can put inside of any bucket that you might have. Then you can throw your chicken wing and the saltwater solution in there, let them soak all day. When you're ready to cook the wings, you dump the wings out and you just throw away the bag. You don't have to clean the bucket. We take the frozen Ziploc baggie that was full of chicken wings, and I write the exact number on there that we want to eat for that day. I know that my family makes around 60 wings every week, and so I fill each freezer bag with the amount that we're going to eat, and that makes it real easy for me to not have to count things later. I write it on the bag because you will end up with bags that have different amounts when you start running low on filling up bags. So what I do is I tear the bag off, throw the chicken wings in the bucket, fill the bucket up to the point that it covers the wings, add the correct amount of salt. Salt is based on the amount of wings that you're using, not on the amount of water, so it makes it pretty easy. Just cover the wings. It's a little more water than you need when they're frozen because of the shape that they freeze in. Fill it up to where the wings are covered, add the correct amount of salt, which is on our wing mix bag, and then allow them to thaw out over the next few hours or all day. I usually throw them in first thing in the morning. I don't even have to look at them for at least 4 to 5 hours because it's just one giant ice cube because the wings are frozen solid. But as they start to thaw out, I will then go into the bucket, break them up to help them, separate. You need to add additional ice to your water to keep the wings cold. You don't want the wings warming up in the bucket for obvious reasons, but it's really easy to just add some more ice, and as long as you have some ice floating around, it's plenty cold. Just make sure you stay on top of it. If it's just something you don't want to deal with, then use the refrigerator bowl technique so you don't have to think about it. Either way, you need to soak your wings for at least 2 hours in the saltwater solution, and once that is done, then we move on to the next phase. All right, guys, I'm excited to finally give you the instructional video for the turkey fryer. I can say that I have used this method about 45 times this year. Having never used a turkey fryer before, I had to start from scratch and figure it out. But I have done it, and I'm excited to show you that today. So a standard 30-quart turkey fryer setup comes with a stand. It comes with the burner underneath. Those are all pretty standard sizes. What can vary, but generally does not, is the propane regulator. This is what attaches to your propane tank. The standard one is a 5 psi regulator. I have upgraded to a 20 psi regulator. It allows for a bigger flame, and I can actually cook more wings than the 72. But for the purpose of this video, we're sticking with 72 as your max because most people are just going to have the basic setup, which is the 5 psi regulator. And it limits the size of your flame, so you don't want to put too many wings in the oil. It cannot keep the oil hot. You will need roughly 2.5 gallons of oil. If you want to come take a look here, we fill the oil. It's 2.5 gallons of oil. I do highly recommend to make sure yours has a strainer basket because without it, you have to scoop the wings out by hand when you're done. So make sure you have your thermometer. It takes about 15 minutes to heat your oil up to the cooking temperature, which is 375 to 400 degrees. With the standard setup, cooking 72 wings, preheat your oil closer to 400, because when you put all those wings in there, it is going to lower the temperature, and you don't want to get too low. The flame can never get it back up there. We're just going to get our flame going. With a standard setup, put the flame size on max. It makes it much easier for you to have to think about things. Do the max flame size for all of your cooking. Unless you're doing considerably less than the 72 wings, then you will have to adjust it, and I will show you the adjusting along the way with this. In the meantime, we basically have about 15 minutes, so I'm going to go back inside to the kitchen, grab my wings out of the saltwater solution that have been soaking for at least 2 hours, and I'll get those battered up, and then we'll come back in just a little bit. We have soaked the wings for 2 hours. This is when you grab our wing mix. This is an all-natural family recipe wing mix that gives you the crispy crunch on every bite of the wing. We're going to take a mixing bowl. The amounts are on the bag, but we're going to use a cup of wing mix per 24 wings. So we're going to take our wings that have been soaking for at least 2 hours in salt water, take a colander or a strainer, whatever you have, dump the wings into it to get the excess water off. Strain the excess water out. You want the wings wet. The water that was on the wings is all that the wing mix sticks to. There's no additional eggs, there's no additional steps. Once you're satisfied with the straining of the excess water, we're just going to pour them into the bowl. So I'm going to hand mix these. Okay guys, we are just about at our temperature. We're at roughly 365 degrees right now. I have prepped the wings by battering them all up. I did that inside. I actually have 58 that I'm doing here. The package had 70. I'm giving 12 to my wife in our air fryer. And we're gonna do a turkey fryer with 58 wings, so we can show you how to do that right now. Now, when you put the wings in, when I originally did it, I put them all in the basket and submerged it. It was an absolute disaster. It stuck all together. They were absolutely terrible, and I didn't think I was ever doing this again. Since that time, I've come up with a much better system. It includes taking handfuls of wings at a time, and you're going to drop them in until they're all in the basket. Do not dump them all in. It will splash oil everywhere. And do not put them in the basket and submerge them all at once. We're going to drop in handfuls at a time, close to the oil so it doesn't spray oil everywhere, but handfuls at a time until we get them all in there. So come on over. Again, we're just going to take some handfuls of wings, drop them in. The closer you are to the oil, the less splash you're going to get. And again, this is another reason that I do it over some rocks or something, to where if there is a little bit of oil, you're not going to have to clean pavers or anything like that. Kind of spread them out as you put them in there. Doing this technique allows them to kind of separate as they sink to the bottom, so they don't stick together, and it actually works really well. So there we are. All 58 wings are in the turkey fryer. So now make sure you set a timer. We're going to do for 25 minutes. Okay guys, it's been 5 minutes, and this is the time I want you to come take a look. So right now we're just below 300 on the thermometer, which means we're right on target. If you're in that 300 range at 5 minutes once you've started, you will not have any issues with your temperature as long as you haven't done too many wings for your setup. It's been 10 minutes since we started our timer. Let's come see where we're at on our thermometer. And we are still sitting at right at 300. And many times I've done this, that means we're right on target. We don't really want that creeping up into the mid threes until about 15 minutes into our cook, because if it gets too hot too fast, you need to regulate the flame size, because you really don't want to be to the 350 range until about 5 minutes left. If you get there a little sooner, it's okay, but ideally we need the wings to cook for the full 25 minutes, not just get hot really fast. So allow it to sit in that 3 to 350 range until about 5 minutes left, and if you need to adjust your flame size, do that. We'll hit 375, about that, at 25 minutes, and that's when we're out. Okay guys, we're at 10 minutes remaining. As you can see, we're starting to climb back up. We're right at the 310, 315 range, which means we're right on target. You can see that there's a few wings that have kind of risen to the top here. I'll usually grab the little hook or a spatula of some sort, just kind of mix them, push them back under the oil. You don't have to, that's just what I've been doing. So again, we're doing good on the temperature, so there's nothing we need to do right now. We'll come back in about 5 minutes. Okay guys, we've got about a minute left until we're at our 5-minute mark. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you. I've already sauced the bowls. I usually get those ready while the wings are cooking, just so I don't have to do it when they're ready. I can just immediately sauce them. I'm gonna make 12 hot wings. Again, this is the same sauce I've used in my other 2 videos. It is my absolute favorite, Arizona Gunslinger jalapeno pepper sauce. If you like spicier things, I cannot recommend it any higher. I use pre-measured squirter bottles. It's just easier to dispense them. These are measured in ounces, and so for 12 wings, I'm gonna use about an ounce. And you're going to use about half a tablespoon of butter. So that is ready to go when the wings are out. So as you can see, we are just about 360 degrees, which is actually perfect considering we have less than 5 minutes to go. It's okay if we get a little above 375 degrees. So we'll come back in 5 minutes and we're going to finish up. Okay guys, the timer has gone off, so we are good to go. You will need a hot glove. I have gotten the system down to 1 glove. Pull your thermometer out. It will just be in your way as you try to remove the steamer basket. So I always take that out, wipe it down. Now grab my hook, pull them out, grab it with your mitt, and allow it to drain over the oil. Now I'm leaving on the burner because I'm going to throw in some fries here. So if you want to do fries, you'll see how to do that as well. I keep a table close so that I can grab my bowl. This is a 13-quart bowl, and it works wonders for using this. So I'm going to keep everything over the oil, come underneath, come to the table. Now I can do all of this with my glove hand and not get any oil anywhere. I'm going to leave it on top of here just so any oil just stays in there. And I'm going to add my fries. Times vary greatly on the fry you get, so you're going to have to experiment. Most fries are somewhere between 4 to 8 minutes. These are 8. And those are 4, so you'll just have to experiment. But again, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this so I don't drip oil anywhere, come back over the top, and submerge the whole thing. I will start another timer, and we'll come back to that in a little bit. Okay, I have set the timer for the fries. Now I'm gonna come back to the wings, and I'm gonna do 12 wings in here with my hot sauce, and we'll go from there. So I'm gonna do 6 of each, 6 drummies, 6 flats. And we're gonna mix it like all the other videos. You just start swirling and then start with the flipping. This is a 5-quart bowl for 12 wings. Don't use anything smaller, the wings can fly out. A little more, these are actually bigger wings. And there we go. So because I had a wing on every other video, I'm going to eat a wing just to show you that there is crisp on every single one. As promised, these guys are crispy and amazing every single time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.